Ladies, gentlemen, Speakerhead Squad, what is going on? It is your boy Speakerhead and welcome back to another video. When I originally got back into collecting Transformer figures a couple of years ago, I thought I was mainly going to be collecting Masterpiece and mainline figures. But then one day while looking for Soundwave figures, I came across New Age Soundwave and I ended up picking him up. But after I got that figure, I was completely hooked on Legend Scale Transformers. And within the past year or so, Legend Scale Transformers have drastically improved. So today I want to talk about why you, yes, I'm talking to you, not anyone else, I'm talking to you, should be buying Legend Scale Transformers in 2023. But before we get into this video, if you enjoy any of this sort of content, make sure to like and subscribe, it really does help me out. Also, a friendly reminder that every like equals one pat for my little buddy Doug here. Say hi, Doug. Also, if you enjoy any of the music in this video or just want to support the channel in general, it's all part of my royalty-free music label, Speakerhead Studios. All the music on this label is completely royalty free, so go ahead and use it for any of your content creating needs. Finally, I want to mention if you ever want to catch me live, I do stream over at Speakerhead Live on YouTube. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get into the video. So the first reason why you should be buying Legend Scale Transformers is going to be based off their appearance. And I have a few examples to show you guys. So my first example is going to be Ironhide. In front of us, we have 4 different versions of Ironhide. From left to right, it's going to be Takara, Magic Square, New Age 2.0, and New Age 1.0. When it comes to the Masterpiece version of this figure, aka the Takara version, I do have a couple problems with it. My first main issue I have with it, and it's the same problem that many other people have, is that I don't really like the hip skirts on it. The other thing I don't like about it is that the chest doesn't compact at all, so it's really long and just kind of looks like he has a beer belly. I didn't really notice it at first, but the more I looked at the figure, the more I could see it. But now looking at the Legend Scale options for Magic Square and New Age, I personally think both of these look pretty great. I will say I like the overall sculpt of Magic Square better, but I do like the paint job on New Age better. But with both these Legend Scale figures, I think they do a better job at representing Ironhide than the Masterpiece version. And now moving on to another example is going to be Shockwave. Right now we have 4 different Shockwave figures in front of us. The 2 on the left are going to be the Masterpiece versions and the 2 on the right are going to be the Legend Scale versions. Just by looking at all 4 of these figures, they all do an excellent job of representing Shockwave. But I do think that the Legend Scale option, specifically New Age, did a much better job with the sculpt on Shockwave. The Fans Toys one is a little bit stylized, which isn't a terrible thing, but if you're going for a very G1 accurate look, then yeah, that's not the one you're going to want to go for. And I will admit the Takara one does look pretty good as well and fairly cartoon accurate, but the main complaint I've heard about him is that he's way out of scale than what he should be. From what I've heard, the figure's a little short, but I personally don't own it, so I can't confirm that. But I do know that both Legend Scale options of Shockwave scale properly with the respective companies. But personally, just looking at all 4 of these figures, if you told me I could only pick one of them, I would have to go with the New Age option. But now moving on to my second reason why you should be buying Legend Scale figures, and that's going to be the quality of the figures. When it comes to every single Legend Scale figure, whether it comes from New Age or Magic Square, I haven't had any sort of QC issues with them. Except for my Magic Square Ironhide that came with 2 arms, but I already contacted Magic Square and I'm getting that all resolved, it's just taking a bit. But assuming you don't get the rare factory defect, every single Legend Scale figure I've personally gotten has been fantastic. And every single new release has impressed me even more and more. For this example, we're going to be using Optimus Prime. So in front of us, we have our 3 Masterpiece versions of Optimus Prime, made by Magic Square, Takara, and Transform Element respectively. And I personally think that all these Optimus Primes look fantastic. All these Masterpiece options look great, but now let's compare them to the Legend Scale versions. Looking at these 2 Optimus Primes, both of these guys are fantastic Legend Scale figures. I own both the Magic Square and New Age version. I can definitely say that these are my favorite Optimus Prime molds. Not just based off of their looks, but also based off their quality. Specifically talking about New Age right now, I've always loved the materials and the paint job they've done on all their figures. They use a nice solid plastic that I personally haven't had any issues with, and then they also do an amazing paint job on every single one of their figures. They're always usually painted head to toe. And if they're not painted right away, they usually come out with a fully painted version like their Jetfire. Speaking of Jetfire, New Age and Magic Square both released their own versions of this character within the past few months of recording this video, and both of them are incredible. So far, they've been hitting the top of every single person's top 5 list, and I can completely see why. Both these figures have fantastic build, incredible articulation, and overall just have a great presence. Now quickly showing our Masterpiece and mainline versions of Jetfire, I honestly think that the Legend Scale versions look way better than these guys. I'm not saying any of these other figures look bad, but I'm saying if you're specifically trying to represent Jetfire, I think Magic Square and New Age did an incredible job for it. Now moving on to my third reason why you should be buying Legend Scale figures, and that's going to be the price of them. Now for this example, we're going to be using Soundwave. So in front of us, once again, we have 4 different figures of Soundwave. The 2 on the left are going to be the Masterpiece, and the 2 on the right are going to be the Legend Scale options. Now I think all 4 of these figures look fantastic in their own right. Even the MP13, which does show its age a little bit, but I personally still love that figure and I know many others do as well. But now let's look how much you have to pay to end up getting these figures. So now just looking at the price difference of all these guys, you can tell that there's just a massive difference when it comes to the price of a Masterpiece and a Legend scale figure. And trust me, I'm not an idiot. I know it's for very obvious reasons why there's a price difference. Obviously, the Masterpiece versions are bigger, are much more cleaned up, are a lot more refined, and have a much better transformation. Well, in some cases it can be better, and sometimes it can be more complicated. But if you're looking at all 4 of these and just want a representation of this character, not caring about the size of it, I think in most cases you're going to go with the Legend scale one because these guys look excellent and they're way more affordable. Now moving on to my 4th reason why you should be buying Legend scale figures, and that's going to be because they're filling out the G1 cast faster than any other line. Talking about Masterpiece for a sec, they've been around for longer than a decade and they have filled out most of the roster for the G1 cast. But now these days it just seems like a lot of these companies are rehashing characters that we already have and we honestly don't need another representation of. But when it comes to Legend scale figures, they're rapidly catching up to Masterpiece, and honestly they're pretty much at the same point. They're both missing about the same amount of characters, and at the rate that Legend scale are being released, they're going to be filling that way faster than Masterpiece. One recent example I can think of is going to be Devastator. Both New Age and Magic Square released their versions of Devastator about a year or so ago, and these guys are fantastic. And I personally didn't think we were going to be getting these guys, but all of a sudden we got them. And then another example of characters I didn't think we were going to be getting is going to be Omega Supreme. I never thought we were going to be getting this figure in Legend scale, but out of nowhere, New Age released a bunch of pictures of their version that they're going to be releasing fairly soon. I'm personally so excited to be getting this character, like you have no idea. I can't wait to get this guy. Because I know New Age's quality is top notch, and with their Jetfire, if it's anything like that, I am so excited to get this figure. Then on top of that, another company called Pangu Toys is also releasing their version of Omega Supreme in Legend scale. So we're not just getting one version of Omega Supreme, but we're getting 2 different versions of him in Legend scale, and I can't wait to get those. But with how fast Magic Square and New Age have been releasing figures, it wouldn't surprise me if they complete the entire G1 cast within the next couple years. But now moving on to my 5th reason why you should be buying Legend scale figures, and it's going to be space saving. So as much as I love me some Masterpiece figures, I don't exactly have the space to display Masterpiece figures. But that's why Legend scale figures drew me in, because I could display a lot of them at once and not take up a bunch of space. And like I said, all of them are great quality and look fantastic, so I have no complaints. And I know one of the main reasons why people don't buy Legend scale figures is going to be because of their size. Let's be honest, a Legend scale figure does not have the same presence as a Masterpiece figure on a shelf. But that's where you have to decide if you want to display a few big figures on a shelf or display a bunch of small ones on a shelf. That's just your personal preference. And I know it can be difficult to display these guys, but just look up some other videos and pictures of how other people display their Legend scale and you can figure something out. But I really do love that they don't take up that much space, because that way I can keep a bunch of them on my desk at a time. Good examples, I probably have about 15 Legend scale figures sitting on my desk right now, but I still have more than half my desk free. And if I had probably 5 or 6 Masterpiece figures on my desk, I'd be taking up the entire desk. But just going over my top 5 reasons why you should be buying Legend scale figures again. It's going to be appearance, quality, price, filling the G1 cast, and finally space saving. But those are going to be my reasons why you should be buying Legend scale figures in 2023. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you already collect Legend scale figures, or let me know if you plan on collecting them. But if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Also, once again, friendly reminder that 1 like equals 1 pat for my little buddy Doug. Finally, if you enjoyed any of the music in this video or just want to support the channel in general, it's all part of my royalty-free music label, Speakerhead Studios, link in description. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I appreciate you checking out the video, and I'll catch all y'all in the next one. Peace!